Okay, so we're about midway through the year, and we've had so many cool games that's come out thus far. Um, right now, we're in the month of June, and as far as upcoming releases are concerned, one that a lot of people are talking about is Sonic Origins Plus, which is supposed to be like an expanded version of the original Sonic Origin games that came out back in 2022. And this game, from what I've read, is different because you get more Game Gear titles like Sonic Drift 2, Sonic and Tails 2, titles that a lot of people have not really heard of outside of the Genesis series in the 90s or outside of, Sonic Adventure. A lot of those games are going to be included in this upcoming expansion. And I think one of the biggest features that a lot of people are talking about is the fact that you're able to use certain characters in certain games, which was something that you couldn't do in the past. Like, for example, you'd be able to play as Knuckles in Sonic CD, and you'd be able to play as Amy Rose in Sonic 1, 2, and 3. But here's the thing. I'm pretty sure a lot of people have done that, whether they used Mugen or whether they modded it. People have done that before, and I think they've played that for free. So this is really nothing new. But at the same time, considering the fact that Sega is the one that's doing this and they're releasing official, versions of these games with with characters that weren't in the original versions of the game, that's something that's pretty cool in of itself. And I do feel that that's something that will definitely add to the appeal of Sonic Origins Plus, because I remember when Sonic Origins came out last year, a lot of people were ripping it up because they had to swap some of the soundtracks from the original game for, I guess, newer soundtracks or original soundtracks because they didn't want to get into any legal trouble. And when I'm talking about soundtracks, I'm talking about the Ice Cap Zone song, which was Michael Jackson inspired, and a lot of people said that Michael Jackson actually composed most of the music for Sonic 3, and I believe there's evidence and there's been clues over the years saying that, he had worked on Sonic 3, but unfortunately, Sega couldn't include any of the MJ-inspired music in Sonic Origins for the Sonic 3 stages for the most part, and honestly, it is what it is, but at the same time, the soundtracks is really what made the older 16-bit Sonic games from the Genesis era memorable. But as far as Sonic Origins Plus is concerned, you get a lot of bonus content that wasn't in the original. You get new challenges and modes. You get classic music. You get museum content. And I believe there's also like a mirror mode as well. And in Sonic Origins Plus, you get a 20-page art book. You got a Sega Genesis reversible cover. You get a lot of cool things, and this is something that's going to be available for multiple game systems, including the PlayStation 5, the PS4, Xbox One, Xbox Series X, and Nintendo Switch. And I'm not exactly sure how well Sonic Origins did last year in terms of sales or what have you, but I read somewhere that in terms of revenue, Sonic Origins basically drew in around, like, it was either slightly around or slightly under $2 million in terms of revenue during its first month of release on Steam, and that's something that's kind of a big deal because it shows that the Sonic series is still relevant, and everybody saw that with the Sonic Frontiers game that came out last year, which people have nothing but good things to say about. And then we got the Sonic movie that came out last year, Sonic the Hedgehog 2, which is one of the best video game movies that I've seen in years, And honestly, I do feel that, Sega, I guess, not remaking, but basically adding bonus stuff to the classic games that we got in the past and basically re-releasing it is smart because a lot of people love the nostalgia of the older Sonic games and all that. And I do feel that, like, those games from the 90s were so good that there's still money that could be made off of it. And I do feel that Sega should definitely release another, like a brand new 16-bit Sonic game, because Sonic Mania from 2017 showed that 2D Sonic games are still in. And I know that Sega has struck, goal, or they captured lightning in a bottle with Sonic Frontiers, but at the same time, it seemed like Sega is just, I don't know, they're just better at creating 2D Sonic games. And don't get me wrong, not every 3D Sonic game that's come out within the past 2 decades have been horrible or anything like that. It's just that Sonic Frontiers was probably one of the main, like, 3D Sonic games that has got, like, mainstream attention for how good it was. And that's something you haven't seen since, like, Sonic Colors, like when the original version came out in 2010, or Sonic Adventure 2, which came out back in 2001 when they introduced Shadow. But either way, Sonic Origins Plus is going to end up being one of the most anticipated video games of the month of June. And I'm not exactly sure whether or not it's going to end up selling more than the original version of Sonic Origins. But, we're just going to have to wait and see how much revenue Sonic Origins Plus earns for Sega within the next year or so.